Barbara, I want to get your response to that one, since I know there had been some concern about further competition, further cooling in terms of activity on Etsy, but that last stat certainly jumps out.
Yeah, it does, because it's been about competition, and also because they have such high margin, highly differentiated product. It's a question of the discretionary spending. Because we know the consumer is pulling back a little bit, but the fact that their numbers are higher indicates that is not happening. So it could be a bit of a competitive, or it could be that buyers are buying lower priced items. So it's interesting that they missed on the sales. I mean, their sales were expected to be about half what they were the last quarter, which was about 10%. So we got to see what that's about. And if it's just consumers are buying cheaper things, and it's hard to measure the competitive intensity because there are a number of competitors out there.
Barbara, I wonder about Snap versus Roku, right? That effect. You've got these second-tier players up against, huge juggernauts. In Snap case, it's up against Meta and Alphabet. Roku's case, it's up against Netflix. Roku did well this earnings season. Snap did not. And here you've got Etsy up against Amazon. It seems to be in the middle in how it's performing. So is this an environment where investors can look at those second-tier players and make bets on them under certain circumstances, or are the large cap names just dominating?
Well, John, that's a good question about, are there certain circumstances where you can? Because I think your broader point, I totally agree with. The second-tier players, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources. We see the amount of spending going on in AI just to get people to get their data in the cloud. And it is a huge investment, and they just don't have the wherewithal. So you're going to be an also-ran. And the question is, at some point, does the stock become cheap enough? Does it become a takeout play? But, it's a tough road to hoe. I mean, Snap, for instance, or even Pinterest, which theoretically has a great potential, just never can quite get there. Again, because it just takes such sophistication in the technology, to do, whether it's the ad targeting, or finding your customers. It's tough. Yeah. So the big players are just gaining, gobbling up market share.